Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me once again. I'm your host, Derek Lane. Another edition of the Fast Lane Podcast for Success. Hey, again, as I said, thank you. I appreciate you being here. What makes you you? What makes you different from the billions of other people on this planet? What sets you apart? Why are you different? Why are you even here? What contribution can you give? How can you derive happiness in a world that's so cluttered, filled with people like you trying to achieve the same thing, ultimately being happy? I think, in other words, just basically finding yourself. What are you going to do to find yourself? Become aware and acutely aware of your surroundings, the things around you. First off, I think just by being able to create your timeline, again, goals, I don't want to get too involved into goal setting, but by creating your timeline, you'll actually go back in the past. You'll sit down and write out some of the things, if you want to go into when you were, a kid, that's fine. What happened? What stages? Did your family influence you to think this way, to act that way, to say these things, to represent yourself in a certain way? Did your family bestow upon you the woe is me mental attitude? Hey, you're a member of this family and we just are losers. We just, you have to come to accept it. Or is it the other way, that you're a family, hey, you're a family of winners? Maybe it's athletes and, your brothers were big quarterback football stars and you've got to follow along in that winning way. And there's pressure on you to do something and you just don't feel it. You just don't feel that's within you, but you've kind of been led down that path from your childhood to produce a certain way of thinking, a certain mantra, if you will. And you kind of fall in line because that's kind of what's been expected of you. I would say that you need to go ahead, write down your timeline, where you are, the events in your life that led you to this. It's kind of like your resume of your life, so to speak. Analyze past experiences, positive and negative, what you've learned from them, how it shaped you. Spend a little reflective time thinking about your past. Okay. Number 2, distinguish yourself, your thoughts, in other words. Distinguish your thoughts about how you've come to be who you are, why you think the way that you do, because you understand that we're all kind of made to be put in the same box. If you think a little differently than the mass, then you're weird. If you think a little differently than the people around you in your society, maybe you're a loser, maybe you're a stranger, just that creepy person that just is weird, that nobody gets you. I'm here to tell you that you can feel any way you want. Your moral compass is upon you. You know what's right and you know what's wrong, but you can do things a little differently. You can do things as you feel. You've got an agreement with yourself to be you. Feel yourself being free to think how you want. Do you follow the guidelines that your parents set? My parents were this, my parents were that, and they're the smartest people on the planet. Well, understand, the first thing you have to do is let go. Let go of that feeling that, your family was the brightest, smartest family. And they may have been, but I'm just saying, consider the possibility that their thinking was contrived from their childhood and it just continues to roll. You have to free yourself of basically that en route thinking. Free yourself of how others expect you to think. The confidence that you have in your ability to think things out, to find your self-worth and play upon that, build upon that, is vital to you. The more that you dwell on being a victim, the more that you're going to be a victim. Trust your judgment. Understand that you are smart. You can make mistakes and move on. No big deal. Take responsibility. If you let people make decisions for you, and responsibilities fall on the shoulders of maybe someone around you, your spouse, your parents, your kids, whatever it is, if you allow that to happen, then you're allowing whatever result you get. But when you start to take on the responsibility of the decisions that you make, good, wrong, indifferent, whatever it takes, it's okay. Because then you start to learn and you start to grow, and those mistakes soon start to fade and dissipate, and you're making better, smarter decisions because you've taken the approach that I'm the one that's responsible for doing so. I'm the one that's going to make decisions, right or wrong, and those decisions will start to become easier to make once you've made the decision to do it. Now, sometimes in our life when we have to start thinking about who we are, and we have to really sit down and think, what is it that I'm going through? What is it that I'm feeling? And you ever had a thought, man, I just want to run away from it all. I just want to run away from it all and just start over. Click that reset button. Well, you don't have to run away from anything. All you have to do is own up to it. Own up to who you are right now, why you're in your situation, good or bad, but to make positive changes or to continue on a positive path, sometimes you just have to let go. Let go of those debilitating thoughts that you've had up to this point. In other words, start with a new and clean slate. Stop smoking, overeating, abusive drinking, gambling, whatever it is, whatever your hang up and your bad habit is, your crutches of life, recognize them. It's the first thing you need to do, recognize it, and truly honestly say, I don't like this, or I do like it. If you find the benefit of smoking and it's who you are, okay. Don't be miserable by not smoking. I wish you would. I don't agree with smoking, but until you're ready. See, and that's the thing about life too, is the people that are in your life that you wish that they would do other things. You wish they would be this. You wish they would be that. You cannot make someone different. Only that person can. You can show them how. You can show them the benefits of changing. Lead by example. Say, hey, this is how I do it. This is how my success is. But you cannot change people. People have to change themselves. And they're not going to until they see a solid benefit from it. Until they say, you know what? I'm done with this. I am done with this. I'm going to change. I'm going to get rid of the toxicity in my life. You also need to organize your thoughts. Organize your world. Again, when I talk to you about writing down your timeline and stuff, organizing your world kind of falls in line with that. It's like, okay, now here's a step 2 of my progression. I've already written down what I've done, how and why I'm at this point that I'm at right now. The next task is to say, hey, this is where I see myself. And put it out there. Put it out there. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to find the means to do it. So many people want, I want. But typically it's material. I want a car. I want a big house. I want a yacht. Whatever it is that you want. But you don't get a plan for it. The only way that you can get those things is that you attract them through who you are, the necessity of who you are. You work on you, material things will come, because material things are fleeting. Yeah, not to get too deep and say, okay, I understand. You can't take it with you. But when you grow your soul as a person, yes, you get to take that with you. You get to take your soul, your connectivity of all of the positive energies that you've conquered and accumulated. That's your soul. Develop your soul. Okay? Sometimes in life, it's very important to have a certain amount of solitude. A little time and space away from things, the noise, the pressures of life, television. You need to purposefully take time to think. Whether it's on a park bench, or on a beach, up in the mountains, or just in your backyard, listening to the wind talk to you through the trees. You need that. And as I've said before, that's kind of the way that, what I call my meditation. It's just being in a place of oneness where I'm not influenced by anything. I just listen to my own thoughts. That's a very powerful, creative situation. And you can do that. You should do that. Make sure, too, that you harvest relationships. I talked about your oneness, but you also have to harvest your relationship and make sure it's meaningful, trustworthy. And then in life and in your society, your community, mentoring. I can't tell you how powerful that is, being able to find a mentor and or to mentor someone else. Again, you give what you get and you get what you give. It's a powerful theme. Make sure that you're doing so. And then your purpose in life, what you want to do with yourself. If you're not exactly there, I would suggest to start off with a hobby. If you're at a job that you don't like and you're just kind of doing it for the paycheck, I think a real powerful way for you to put things in perspective is to pursue a hobby. Whether it's working with wood, with your hands, molding clay or painting or playing a musical instrument, writing, just that creative outlet. It's very necessary for us as empowering people to have a direction, to have creative outlets, to see what you've done. Something that someone else will come along and go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Did you do this? Yeah, I sure did. Didn't know you had it in you. That's crazy. Or, hey, I expected that from you. That was pretty good. Have that creative outlet. Also, in finding out who you are, it's very powerful to think about letting go, not only to the negatives in your world, that's a must, to harbor those ill feelings. It will eat you up inside if you let it. You have to let things go. Having the need to be accepted by all. You've heard of the term being a yes man, where you're trying to be everything to everybody. Some of the most powerful people, the people that are respected, understand that not everybody accepts their way of thinking. Not everybody accepts their critical mass thinking, and they don't worry about it. Okay, if you don't get me, doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means that we haven't kind of benefited from the same vibrations. We're not on the same page, so to speak, not on the same wavelength. Okay, and I wish you the best in your venture, but if you don't get me, sorry, I'm moving. I don't have time to explain it to you. I don't have time to banter with you. I don't have time to bring you over. I'm busy. I'm on a path. And if you're interested and you like it and you're not getting it, but you want to, that's a different story. But if you don't like it and you don't want to like it, I'm moving on. See ya. I don't have to give you everything I've got. And then if you still don't like it, I'm disappointed. I don't have time for that, because I'll drive myself crazy trying to convince all the people that doesn't want to see the same thing that I'm seeing. Again, negative thoughts, things that are negative in your world, the crazy negative stuff in your world, don't just minimize it. Get rid of it. Allow only positive into your life. Somebody says that you're weird, don't worry about that. You are who you are. As long as you're comfortable with who you are. And that's what I'm trying to express to you, that you have to find a way to be comfortable with who you are. And sometimes you can sit back and you can ask yourself these questions, why is it that I act this way? Why is it that I say these things? Why is it that my thought process is in this manner? Think about this. If I didn't need money, what would I do? If I didn't need money was just, I don't need it at all. What would I really want to do? It's a very powerful lesson to think about what you would do if you didn't need money. Think about the things that you regret. Man, I really wished I'd have done this. I really wished I hadn't have done that. Realize your regrets. Learn to let those things go. Learn to be honest with yourself. That's what I'm saying. Be honest. Who am I? It's a good question to repeat to yourself over and over. Who am I? What do I stand for? Am I good? Am I positive? Am I creative?